How can I just be a better leader? How can I be a better communicator at home with my family, with my kids? How am I being consistent in my pursuits and being better? We shouldn't be in the same place year after year after year. John Maxwell is teaching, and hey, focus on your strengths and go gung-ho, or just give all your energy to your strengths. I get all of that. But at the same time, if I want to get better and if I want to self-assess, let me look at what's not working. What's going on, you guys? JC here, back with another compelling thought. These thoughts are designed to help move you forward. A quick 15-minute pause and break in the middle of your week to just really pause and go, okay, how can I take this catalytic thought to move me forward? Hey, what are some ways and some areas I need to readjust and maybe adapt? And just some things that I maybe need to think about that I haven't thought about before. But with doing that, now I can get back to moving at a faster pace, at a greater pace. It'll create more impact. It'll increase my influence, all those different aspects. So these thoughts are just designed for you to be, once again, I use the word catalytic, something that would spark in your mind, spark in your spirit, spark in your heart to go, you know what? This is something that I never really thought about before, but I do need to bring it to the front of my mind. Or, hey, maybe this is something that I thought about before, but just life got in the way and I need to go ahead and revisit it. Whether through reading books, I have coaches as well, conversations that I'll have with my coach. A lot of them you guys probably know, but just really having those conversations and getting that information and just passing it on to you so that way we can live a compelling life and maximize our life journey. So today I want to talk about something that's super pivotal. Honestly, I believe it is one of the most pivotal conversations and thoughts that will help people as they are on their journey to pursue purpose, to maximize their purpose. And it's something that I think if a lot of people would really grab hold of and capitalize on, it would change their lives and really create some great results. And I'll just get right to it. How many of you guys can self-assess well? How many of you guys take time, whether throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, and pause from your normal routine or just take a look at your routine and self-assess? How great are you at self-assessing? Now, some of you all may have heard that before and it's like, oh, here we go again, our self-assessment, or you've probably taken a lot of assessment. There's the DISC assessment, Myers-Briggs, a Y assessment. There's so many personal assessments and personal development and leadership assessments and all those things. But instead of going out and taking those things, those are helpful and they can add to you self-assessing. But I'm just keeping it general and basic. How often do we self-assess? And honestly, self-assessing is important for you to really gain results, hit those goals, so on and so forth. And I've heard it said in different contexts, it's so easy, and it's true when we really think about it. It is so easy to point out the faults in other people. It's so easy to see somebody else struggling and point out and see why they're struggling. It's like, oh, you ever hang out with somebody and they go, man, I'm just trying to lose weight, as they're sitting there eating a Big Mac and fries, and you're like, you can easily see why this person is struggling to lose weight. You can see an individual that goes, man, I'm really not getting the results I want at work, and they're giving me a hard time, and it's so hard at work. But you can literally see that they're always late. They're always late. They're late to going out to dinner. Maybe you guys are going out for the weekend and they're late. They can't see that they're always late, but you can see it. Isn't it so easy to self-assess, or let me say assess other individuals? But for a lot of people, it's hard to self-assess because we can't necessarily see us. And it's super pivotal and important to self-assess. Why? Because some of us may know individuals that are in the same place every single year. Or let me say it this way, you can look at your relationship with them. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, whatever. You can look back the last 5, 7, 10 years and they're in the same place. They're at the same job. They're still late all the time. They still have bad habits. They still maybe oversleep. They still, whatever it may be, there's certain things that they're still doing. And if we want to maximize our lives, yes, there's going to be things that come easier than others for sure. But at the same time, we shouldn't be in the same place year after year after year. Or maybe there is a certain struggle that we have or a certain challenge that we have, but you can see that this person is progressively getting better over time. They are not where they were 5 years ago. they are not the same person that they were 7 to 10 years ago. They're progressively getting better over time. And it should be the same for you as well. So what I want to point out and bring up today is the importance of self-assessing, why we need to self-assess. We need to self-assess to make sure that we're not in the same place 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. How are we being proactive in progressively pursuing purpose and progressively perfecting our purpose into just becoming a better individual, being a better communicator? Maybe you don't want to communicate on stages or in front of cameras. How can I just be a better leader? How can I be a better communicator at home with my family, with my kids? How am I being consistent in my pursuits and being better? You have to do it. You have to self-assess. You have to do that. So let me break down on how you can do that. So I'm gonna just quickly jot down a few things. And once again, there's so many DISC assessments, Y assessments. There's so many personality assessments that can help you identify, okay, these are the things that I do on a day-to-day basis, or why do I do those things? There's a lot of assessments out there, but I just want to keep it basic and keep it simple. So let's just look at a few things that can help us figure out how can I quickly self-assess. So I'm gonna just give you 3 things really quick, right? 3 things really quick. Right? 3 things. The first things, and I'll keep it simple. They'll all start with L, so that way you guys can remember it. Okay? They all will start with L. The first thing, let's go ahead and look at what's not working. Let's just quickly look at what's not working. Now, for a lot of people, they go, well, you know what? I'm already struggling with self-esteem issues, or I'm already struggling in this specific area. So I want to be positive. I don't want to think about what's not working. I want to focus on what is working. You know, John Maxwell's teaching, and hey, focus on your strengths and go gung-ho, or just give all your energy to your strengths. I get all of that. But at the same time, if I want to get better and if I want to self-assess, let me look at what's not working. Let me look at what's not working. Okay. Hey, you know what? I'm constantly oversleeping. My alarm goes off and I don't get up. Okay, I'm constantly tired in the morning. Let me take a look at what's not working. All right, well, simple. What time are you going to bed? Hey, maybe you need to move for a lot of people, their alarm clock is their phone. Okay, and they keep their phone at their bedside. If you want to get up a little bit earlier and you hit the snooze button on your phone, why don't you possibly move your phone to the other side of the room so that way your alarm is going off and it forces you to get out of bed? That's something simple. And honestly, that's a quick habit that I shared with somebody, and it literally helped them stop oversleeping. But that's what I mean by just simply look at what's not working. Hey, I'm constantly oversleeping. How can I make this adjustment? I'm constantly late. Let me look at what's not working. You know what? I'm doing this in this format and I'm not getting the results that I want. So many people just have this mantra of, well, I'm going to go harder and I'm going to just do it more. And why? If it's not working, yes, in some regard, maybe it's working, but you're not getting the results that you want, but it is working. And maybe you do need to do it a little bit more consistently. But in some areas, it's not working. It's not working. So you need to look at it and go, okay, you know what? This isn't working, and figure out why. All right, which brings me to the second thing. Listen. What do you need to listen to? Listen to the complaints of the people around you. The people that you're in day-to-day conversations with, the people, your coworkers that I shared are maybe complaining or they're just saying certain things about your performance, maybe your manager, your leader. Now, I say this gently in the sense of there are some things that you don't need to give energy to. You got to be mindful. There are some things that you shouldn't give your energy to. There are some negative people. So I say this with caution. Listen to individuals that are going to give you the right critique, that are going to help really share with you what you really need to hear, what you really need to know, that's going to move the needle in your life and help you as you're taking this time to self-assess. But before even going in conversation with these individuals, I heard the saying, take the meat and leave the bone. Think of a steak. Think of a steak, right? A nice porterhouse steak. Take the meat and then leave the bone. Think of that T-bone steak. Take the meat, leave the bone. The meat's going to give you nourishment. It's going to help you grow, all that good stuff. But leave the bone. Leave the bone. Take the stuff that applies. But you know what? The stuff that doesn't apply, you could tell, okay, that's a little bit of negativity. Okay, you're just being a little pessimistic. Okay, you know what? I didn't need that sarcasm. Okay, but you know what? You are right in this area. You know what? You are right. Maybe that joke may have been a little crazy. You're right. So take the meat and leave the bone. But listen to the complaints of the people around you. hey, maybe you are a little selfish. You know what? There's some seasons in my life where, okay, you know what? Maybe I am too focused on my goals and I'm not spending enough time with my family. You know what? Maybe I am a little too focused on my job that I'm not spending any time with my friends. You know what? Maybe I get to my desk and I put on my headphones and yeah, I'm knocking out tasks, but none of my coworkers know anything about me. And now I feel a certain type of way when they're all going out to lunch, or they're all going out to grab a coffee after work, or whatever the case may be, and I'm not getting invited. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm not social. Listen to the complaints of what's going on around you, or listen to how people view you. Listen to what people are saying. And so many of us just ignore those things. But if we're really going in a season of self-assessing, or maybe it's not a full season, maybe it's just taking 30 minutes, 20 minutes throughout the week, throughout the day, and go, you know what? All right, let me look at what I'm doing that isn't working. Let me listen to what my wife may be saying, what my kids may be saying, what my classmates, what the teacher, what my manager or boss, or maybe my client. Let me listen to some of the side comments and some of the things that they're saying, right? So I'm going to look, I'm going to listen, and then last but not least, I'm going to create a list. I'm going to create a list. My OCD is bothering me because that T is a little crooked. There we go. I don't know if that T was better, but hey, it's all good. I'm going to make a list. So when I say make a list, what do I mean? Just simply writing it down. Write down your calendar. Look at your calendar. Have your appointments, have your meetings, have your calendar written down. So if you're in a space and you go, you know what? I just feel like I don't have enough time. I don't feel like I have enough margin in my life to do more. There's things that I want to do. I want to volunteer more. You know what? I want to date. You know what? I want to spend more time with my family. I want to be able to spend more time with my wife, my husband. I want to be able to do certain things, but I feel like I don't have enough time. Look at your calendar. Look at what's not working. Listen to the complaints of other people. Maybe, hey, they want to spend more time with you. Okay. Hey, man, you're always busy. You're always on a phone call. Listen to the complaints, but just make a list. A list could look like a calendar. Look at your calendar and go, okay, I am always full. I don't give myself any margin. I have a call between 9:30 to 10, and then at 10 o'clock I have a call, and at 10:30. Give yourself some margin. Schedule a call from 9:30 to 10. Okay, great. Give yourself a 15-minute bump. Give yourself a 15-minute breather. So now you can decompress, you can breathe, you can kind of change your mind and shift gears from the last conversation. You could prepare for the next conversation, whatever. Maybe you don't plan a meeting or plan a call in between picking your child up from school, or hey, maybe you put this, maybe some things need to be put on your calendar. Maybe you do put date night. Maybe you do put social time. Maybe you do put, hey, maybe you're in grind mode, so you need to put breather. Breather. There was a season of my life, I was in school, I was working, I was trying to do all these things. I literally had to put breather. I gave myself breathing time for 2 hours. I'm going to do something to decompress. Whatever it may be. Maybe it's making a list. It could be in the form of a calendar. Maybe it's money. If you're feeling, hey, you know what? I need to self-assess my money. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I joke around with other consultant friend of mine, and he's like, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm living invoice to invoice. Let's just be honest. I'm living invoice to invoice. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm on my own. I'm a solopreneur, and I don't have to check in with anybody. Okay, yeah, but you don't have any margin financially. You're literally living invoice to invoice, contract to contract. You don't have any margin. Okay, look at your bank account. A list may be, what are you spending your money on? What are your expenses? What's coming in versus what's coming out? There's something special when we write it down. That's what I'm getting at. There's something special when we make a list and we really write it down, because there's a lot of emotions behind it. Let's just be honest. There's a lot of emotions behind the things that we do. So if we make a list, and honestly, you could just pull up your bank statement. That list is already prepared for you. The emotions are detached at that point, because now you may go, you know what? I may be living paycheck to paycheck, or I may be living invoice to invoice, but you know what? I go to Starbucks 4 times in a week. I go out to lunch 5 times throughout the week. For client meetings or whatever, I'm go ahead and using that business credit card. And now you can see in black and white the things that, you know what? I need to cut back in this area. I need to self-assess in this area. I need to look at some things and, you know what, really adjust on how I'm operating in that arena so that way I can get the results that I want. So once again, I wanted to keep it real general. I wanted to keep it real simple. How you choose to self-assess, that's up to you. I just wanted to give you some tools that will help you on your journey. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and look at what's not working. I'm going to go ahead and listen to the complaints of the people that really matter to me. And if their opinion matters to me, I'm going to listen to the things that they're saying isn't working, or the things that they're saying about me that I don't necessarily agree with, or I don't want them to have that opinion about me. And I need to self-assess. And if I ever question it and I'm like, you know what, I do need to make some, but I don't know how. I do need to make some adjustments and I do need to make some changes, but I don't know how. Write it down. Make a list. Maybe your goal is to lose weight. Write it down. Write down what you eat in the morning, what you eat in the afternoon. That takes all the emotion away from it. There's apps that can help you do that as well. So depending on what it is, the point I'm trying to make is make a list, write it down, and just look at it in black and white. One of the last things I'm gonna share before we wrap up is, okay, I need to self-assess. I already explained why you need to self-assess. I already kind of shared how you can self-assess. One of the last things that I want to point out is, as you are in this space of self-assessing, there's always going to be blind spots. There's always going to be blind spots. There's going to be things that you just can't see for whatever reason. There's going to be, or maybe you see it, but you don't see it to its full magnitude. You don't see the full picture. You just see the one side of the picture. You don't see the full picture. So all of this is stuff that you could do. That's why it's called self-assess. But as you're in the space of self-assessing, I say this with caution, go to the right individuals. These may be coaches. These may be loved ones, people that really, really care about your growth or really, really care about you. They know what you're trying to pursue. They know what you're trying to achieve. They know the season that you're in. So they'll be a little gracious with you, but they'll just speak right to your heart and they'll just tell you the truth. They'll be blunt. They'll help you see, hey, how do you think? And honestly, this is where it comes with being vulnerable. Don't wait for them to ask. Go to them. Hey, I'm in a space of self-assessing. What are some things about me that you see that's hindering me from reaching the next level? And if they love you, if they're your coach, man, they probably already have a few things in mind. They already have a few things in mind that they could tell you right away. If they really, really love you and really, really care about you, they'll be able to share with you some information that's pivotal in helping you get to that next level. So you definitely have to be understanding that there's going to be blind spots. You may say, hey, I looked at what's not working. I created my list. I listened to what people have been saying about me. And you know, I really want their opinion about me to change. Awesome. That will cover hopefully 80-90% of it. But I guarantee you, there's still going to be 10-20% that you just don't see. And that's okay. Go to your coach. If you don't have a coach, definitely, I definitely advocate in getting one. But if you don't have a coach, get one. But go to your coach. Go to some individuals that work with you. Go to a close loved one, a family member, friend, so on and so forth. And just ask them, hey, I'm just taking some time to self-assess. I know I haven't been the best, or you know what, there's some things that I want to pursue and there's another level I want to get to. What are some things that you feel like I could do better? What are some things that are hindering me from getting to that next level? And I promise you, they'll share some things that'll blow your mind. All right, so guess what? We have to self-assess. We have to self-assess. As we are on our journey, this is something that I do constantly. I get encouraged all the time by my coaches. Hey, at least once a week, self-assess. Whether at the beginning of the week, maybe in the middle of the week, Wednesday, take some time out. Sometimes for me, it's on a Wednesday where I just, okay, how am I doing this week? Am I hitting my goals? Am I maximizing my time? I make my list. I look at my calendar. I do all these things and I go, hey, how can I take this time to self-assess to see how I'm doing on reaching my goals? And once again, last but not least, I talk to coaches and other loved ones and individuals that will help you point out what you just can't see. And if you do these things, I promise you, if you do it for 6 months, a year, you'll look back and you absolutely won't be the same place you were last year. And it's going to change your life. All right. So as always, I ask for 3 things. Go ahead, leave a comment. Go ahead and click the like button. And if you haven't done so already, join the tribe, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.